Library of Heaven's Path. Chapter 20. Wang Ying's shock. After hearing that the young mistress has acknowledged Zhang Xuan as her master, Xuanhuan rushes here furiously, oblivious to the fact that Zhang Xuan has already accepted several students. He had just let out word that the other party would be unable to recruit a second student other than the young mistress, but in the next moment, he meets Wang Ying and the rest. He feels as though he was slapped in the face in public. His face immediately darkens. Teacher. Zhao Ya also feels a burning sensation on her face and she feels tempted to find a burrow to hide in. You are all right. A short moment later, Xuanhuan recovers and stares in confusion at Zhang Xuan. That fellow yesterday was so brutal to him, so he thought that even if Zhang Xuan isn't reduced to a pig head, he would at the very least be crippled. So why does he seem to be fully intact, to the point of being unable to find even a single scratch on his skin? Actually, even though he said that he wanted to assess Zhang Xuan's standards as a teacher, his true purpose is to see his pathetic state after getting thrashed by the mysterious man. Yet, in the end, as a fighter 6 Dan Pishui realm expert, he went to assault him yet ended up getting beaten up while the one who he intended to assault isn't even wounded in the least. He feels as though he has lost greatly and he finds it unacceptable. Why wouldn't I be alright? Zhang Xuan knows what Xuanhuan is thinking, but he replies with a stoic expression. He looks towards Zhao Ya and asks, "This disabled person is?" Disabled person. A peculiar expression appears in Zhao Ya's face. Before she could speak, a voice interrupts her. You are the one who is disabled. Xuanhuan suppresses the urge to vomit blood. His eyebrows shoot upwards and he flings the sleeves of his robe. I am the butler of Baiyu City Lord Residence, Xuanhuan. Oh, since you are disabled, you shouldn't be walking around here. Otherwise, if you were to die here, it would be difficult for me to explain. As though not hearing his words, Zhang Xuan gestures to the door, send off our guest and shut the door. You. Xuanhuan clenches his fist furiously and almost exploded on the spot. Who is he? The butler of Baiyu City Lord Residence. He possesses great authority. In the Haotian Academy, even the executive of the Education Bureau would have to give in to him. Yet, a teacher like Zhang Xuan dares to say that he is disabled and even tries to throw him out. How could it be possible for him to not be angry? I want to see how you are going to teach them. Putting his hands behind him, Xuanhuan stands upright proudly. Oh, since you know that you have to leave, make it fast. We need to maintain a silent atmosphere when teaching the students, so we don't just allow any cats and dogs in our classrooms. Zhang Xuan seems to be on a different frequency as him. As though hearing nothing at all, he gestures towards the exit yet again. You. Who are you calling cat and dog? The rage burns with him and blood flows out from his wounds. Xuanhuan trembles uncontrollably. Do you think that I wouldn't dare to kill you with a palm of mine right now? Zhao Ya, send him out so that I can solve your problem. Can't be bothered to argue with the other party, Zhang Xuan signals to Zhao Ya. Uncle Yao, please, leave for the moment. I am about to start lessons. Hearing those words, Zhao Ya's eyes light up. I am not leaving. I want this fellow to clarify who he is talking about. I, Xuanhuan, a fighter 6 Dan Pishui realm expert, is respected wherever I go. Who dares to say that I am crippled, even trying to drive me out? Pung. Before he could finish his words, Zhao Ya pushes him out. The next moment, the sight before him turns dark as the door closes on him. If he didn't dodge fast enough, he would have been smacked by the door. Young mistress. Standing outside the door, Xuanhuan frowns and his face twitches. If he was driven out by Zhang Xuan, he would surely retaliate. However, since it was the young mistress who drove him out, he wouldn't dare to lay his hands on her even if he was beaten to death. Even so, he directs all the resentment he has accumulated onto Zhang Xuan. He is unable to understand what capabilities the fellow possess, to be capable of deluding the young mistress to such an extent. Uncle Yao, I'm sorry to bother you to wait outside. We are going to start lessons. Zhao Ya knows about her own problem. Her own illness must not be revealed to anyone, especially to Uncle Yao. If her teacher is going to help her solve her problem, she would naturally have to drive him away. Fine, young mistress. I will be waiting outside. If anything happens, call me and I will rush in immediately. Hearing the words of the young mistress, Xuanhuan knows that he would be unable to enter. He is on the verge of erupting, but without a choice, he could only grit his teeth and bear with it. After Yao Han leaves, only Zhang Xuan's 5 newly accepted students and him remain in the room. Zhang Xuan surveys the surrounding. Since all of you have acknowledged me as your teacher, you all would be fellow peers. Make sure to take good care of one another so as to not sully my prestige. Prestige. Hearing this word, the 5 students stare at one another. Teacher, you don't seem to have any prestige. Cough cough. Even if we wanted to sully it, there is nothing there to sully. My way to teaching is slightly different from the others. I pay particular importance to cater teachings to the student's personal condition. The way to guiding everyone is different. Thus, there is nothing to compare between you all. Zhang Xuan seems oblivious to the expressions of his students and puts on the airs of a teacher. Right now, I will go to the little room by the side. When I call your name, enter the little room. Zhang Xuan's classroom isn't big, around 100 square meters. Even so, there is a partition in which the teacher is able to give specific guidance to a student. These 5 students are different from one another. If he were to guide them together as a whole, it would be troublesome and highly ineffective. Wang Ying, you are my first student. Come in. After which, Zhang Xuan leads the way into the small room. Yes. Given Wang Ying's obedient nature, she doesn't dare to retort and walks closely behind him. Wang Ying feels a little regretful. Yesterday, she got lost and came over to ask for directions. Yet, she was scammed into acknowledging this teacher as her mentor. Initially, she didn't know what was going on, but after thinking through it, this teacher doesn't seem to be truly capable. Other teachers are able to tell the problem with her leg through her punching routine. However, not only was this fellow unable to tell, he even bragged about being able to cure the injury on her leg. For this injury, her father even found the most famous of physicians, but it was to no avail. Even so, the man before her claims that he is able to treat her. If this isn't a scam, what could this be? Furthermore, Teacher Lu told her many things regarding this teacher. Only then did she realize that this teacher had such a radiant background. The first teacher to score a 0 in the teacher qualification examination and the weakest in terms of strength among the teachers. Why was she so unfortunate to be scammed by him and to believe his words? No wonder Big Brother said that there are many bad guys outside. When her elder brother told her that there were untrustworthy people outside, she didn't believe him. Now, looking at the teacher before her, she feels wronged, that she has been lied to. Just as she is thinking about how she should withdraw from the lessons of this teacher, that at most it would simply end with a scolding and she could find her elder brother to help her find another teacher, she hears a familiar voice sounding out. Display your battle technique once more. Zhang Xuan sits at the center of the room and looks over with a calm expression. The previous time, when he tried to coax Wang Ying into joining him, the Library of Heaven's path wasn't activated yet, so he still has no idea what flaws do Wang Ying have. Alright. Although Wang Ying is tempted to withdraw from the lessons, she nods her head after hesitating for a moment. Once again, her fists generate gusts of wind and soon, her punching routine came to an end. Zhang Xuan nods his head. Although Wang Ying's character may be a little dense, her punching routine is quite satisfactory. Teacher, actually I want to. Wang Ying wavers for a moment, and just when she was about to express her intention to withdraw from Zhang Xuan's lesson, the young man opposite of her speaks. If I'm not wrong, your leg was probably struck by someone during a duel 2 years ago. Zhang Xuan says. You. How did you know? Wang Ying is taken aback. Her words jam in her mouth as her beautiful eyes widen in circles. She only talked about the injury on her leg yesterday, and not the origin of it. She didn't expect the other party to be capable of telling that it is an injury from someone's blow and even the time of the injury. She couldn't help but be shocked. There are 3 acupoints on a person's leg, and individually, they govern strength, speed and dexterity. When you battled with someone else, the other party accidentally struck the acupoint which governs strength. When this acupoint is struck, it closes, resulting in your blood to flow in reverse, thus preventing you from exerting strength on it like any other normal person. Zhang Xuan states calmly. That. Wang Ying's body trembles. Her face flushes completely red. For her leg, Wang Ying's father had invited all of the renowned doctors in the kingdom, including the famous Master Yuanyu. He seems to have spoken similar words, but even he was unable to identify where the acupoint which governs strength is, thus he was unable to treat her. If she wants to be treated once and for all, she has to invite a fighter 8 Dan Zongxi realm master who possesses superior junqi to treat her. Otherwise, it is impossible for the treatment to succeed. Initially, she thought that this teacher who claimed that he would be able to treat her leg is just trying to coax her to come under his tutelage. Yet, she didn't expect that he would say the exact same words as what Master Yuanyu said, so how could she not be shocked? Teacher, are you able to treat me? Wang Ying couldn't resist asking. It is just a small matter. Zhang Xuan replies her question blandly. A small matter. Wang Ying's eyes narrow as her breathing quickens. If you find any errors, please let us know in the comments below so we can fix it as soon as possible. Also, like and subscribe to our channel to get notified of the latest chapter release.